1, 2, 3. Quaker Kid Productions. It's a fucking earthquake. Oh shit. Oh no. Yeah. I got it. It's okay. I'll keep the artwork. Oh Canada. Yeah. Welcome to 20scene.com. Visit the website. Check out QKP Media on YouTube. Remember
Quaker Kid, right?
Yeah, it's Quaker Kid Productions, but QKP Media is the YouTube channel where you can see the Admiral Crumple interview in full. There's even like some more Admiral Crumple footage in montage scenes in the 20 Scene Tube episode 2 that came out around that same time, which was dope. I think that was like the footage of you spitting in the park. Was that for like a radio station or something like that?
For which one?
Like you were spitting mercury. And
that was some weird protest.
Oh, so it wasn't like a promotion or something.
Yeah, it was some sort of protest, and we got called out to do like a show. Me and Hermes.
Yeah, I always thought that was dope. You came correct on that. But
thanks, man.
I always wanted to tell you that reasonably Merc is a fucking Toronto man slang, so props.
Yeah, thanks. Merking people.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more just making that Toronto slang fucking used in the reasonable rap fucking day and age. I guess recently Merc, how long did that come out?
I think a while. I think, it's funny because I think I heard it first. I don't know where I heard it first. I know Tame One used it.
Yeah.
Mark off. I don't know if
I know Toronto man's use that though.
Yeah.
For real.
That's rest in peace, Tame One from Artifacts. He was incredible.
Yeah. So let's get this interview on the road. I have some questions. There is gonna be a video for the new album.
Yes.
Yeah.
The video's already shot. I'm editing it, but
is there any comparisons that you've seen as far as differences go between Nightmare Fuel and Plexiglass Park?
Again, I think Plexiglass Park is kind of where Nightmare Fuel was super kind of there was kind of emotional pain and a lot of fear and anger and kind of get back, just grimy like that. That's all been kind of forgiven and cleared out, and then I live life and it's Plexiglass Park, so it's kind of lighter and more feel good music, that song I feel tremendous, walking down the block, seeing the buildings and the wooden fences and whatever, and then just feeling good no matter you're walking through the neighborhood, whatever. So it's kind of there's a lot of feel good songs, but it's still talks about grimy stuff, you're walking through the hood or whatever. So it's just kind of if something I'm bothered by or freaked out about now, it's different than Nightmare Fuel. It's almost not trading one problem for another, but it's
you have a different perspective.
And kind of trading, getting higher in problems. I was saying, it's someone can have a problem where they're looking for their next fentanyl fix, or someone can have their problem they need to figure out what color to paint their BMW, and it's damn, that's a problem. Should I paint this gray or blue with it? And
mm-hmm.
it's so people have different problems in life. It's just that some people have higher quality problems, and I think that the thing is to go for higher quality problems. And so in a sense,
it's about sophistication too. But I think one of the similarities between the two albums is that you yet again delve into the world of addressing addicts or substance abuse and stuff, which shows that I guess the way that you talk about it is you're not continuing to go down that path.
Yeah.
But you're still agitated with the fallout that you see around you.
Agitated, and it's weird because addiction is such a theme throughout all my music, but also if you see, it's the song I have on the album about the girl
mm-hmm.
who got caught up with her boyfriend who introduced her to cocaine and fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 years later she's not with the boyfriend, but she's with the fentanyl and cocaine, right? So that's kind of that's not hating on addicts at all. That's saying a real life situation that happens in so many places.
Yeah, playing the tape to the end and being like, yo, but the reality is that a lot of people end up like, you know, with just the drugs.
Right, but especially like girls who get involved because they fell in love with a guy. They fell in love with a guy, and maybe they never wanted to do drugs, but they did, and then they get caught. And I've heard a lot of stories about that. The opposite.
I've heard a lot of stories of two people that like and a tryst like in some sort of romantic
thing, and another
died. Like,
right. And another thing is, I heard the opposite. Like, I have an uncle in Italy, and he goes, Mark. He told me that first. He's like, I smoked a cigarette because the ladies in the beach, they were poor. They would only wear bikinis. They could, and he was smoking cigarettes because it would attract the girls because they smoked cigarettes in Europe, in Italy, in like 1970s, 1960s. And then he's like, but you know what, Mark? Now all those girls are gone, but I'm with the cigarette. And in so that's a man. That's like a man
past that era or whatever. Yeah.
So that's a man in the 60s trying to impress a girl for smoking cigarettes. And then now I have heard a lot of like, it could be men or women, but then I hear that theme of like girls who deal with dudes who are addicts, and then they become addicts. That's one way. That's one way into that life.
Yeah, and it's always like, like addicts, I think, push it further than it really should go almost every time, or like to a new low or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's like there's some reflections on like that in terms of just like in that song where there's like disappointment that it's like you see the same pattern playing.
Yeah, and it is disappointing because it's like, again, like me, I was born in 81, and it's like we had this campaign as children fed to us where it was like, say no to drugs. And that was so powerful. Like, say no to drugs. Such little words used on that slogan. There was like buttons and t-shirts and commercials. And it's so simple because once you say no to something, you cut it off, right?
Yeah.
But it was always put in my mind, like, never touch heroin, never touch cocaine, never touch crack. Fentanyl wasn't around, but I would never touch that. So it's disappointing to see younger people than me become addicted to those things. Because again, like Cataphonic Productions is like, again, dark hardcore and clever hip hop, and our mission is to create conscience active, principle centered. Like we lead that way, and to create hip hop that inspires other people to create as well. That's kind of been our motto. And basically, like, it's we create dark hardcore and clever hip hop, and I never veered out of that. Like, so when people hear Crumple or Admiral Crumple or Cataphonic, they know they're getting dark hardcore and clever hip hop. Like, that's it.
Yeah, you've been promoting it on that, like, for
and that's
still.
the music, because there's so much like variations within that, like picking, like making the music, like the programming the drums.
Yeah, and
like,
it doesn't like linchpin you into, for instance, horrorcore or something, because like
and it's
you
like
could just do whatever.
Horror, yeah, and then that's it. It's like hardcore, but horrorcore is part of that. But it's like, it's like, it's part of who I am because I grew up on horror movies. Like I remember going to VHS stores like Video 99 and Video Madness in Rexdale Mall, and I'd go with my dad, and then I'd look up at the horror boxes were placed up on the shelves, and I'd be like, oh, try to grab one, look at the case of, like, we're seeing the whole lineup of like Friday the 13th boxes, like fucking box art. I love box art, man.
Yeah, you mentioned that actually.
That shit's like, and like, it's like, crazy.
But they're like, dude, like, that's what I'm saying is like, even with like Wormwood Records, that's what the record label is called that I was talking about earlier. Like, his cover art is like legit every time, like, and like a certain quality. Like, he always photographs like the vinyl half out of the sleeve to show you what the design is.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, and like
I love that.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you gotta. I'm telling you, you gotta pick your favorite one of these albums and print it, like press it on vinyl, because a lot.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have been telling me that to do that. Like,
yeah,
I know vinyl's kind of pricey, but the
people make money flipping it though.
I know, and yeah,
like the higher price range makes higher returns.
Yeah, like yeah, no, I always wanted to do vinyl. Like, I had a boy who released a vinyl.
Oh, sick.
The Filthy Radicals. Have you heard of them?
Filthy Radicals. Oh my god, yeah, I've seen them live.
Yeah,
I covered them in 20 Scene in one of the early ones.
Filthy Radicals.
Yeah, those guys have hella attitude, and they have like a brass section that plays plastic horns and shit.
Right. So and they dropped an album, and I saw them, and I remember they had the green vinyl, the black one. And when I bought it to show at the store, they gave me the black vinyl. I'm like, bro, I want the green vinyl. And I said, okay, yeah, I got. And it's I know, right? Yeah, but it's like I just always wanted a colored vinyl, because I remember once I bought an LP. No, I went to this store and I saw an LP, like from Company Flow, Definitive Jux, right?
Okay.
And he it was a Deep Space 9mm vinyl, and I pulled it out and played a record, and I think it was red. And I'm like, damn. And then it's like my boy, I think, ended up buying it, but he got the black one. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Like, it's vinyl, but it's like.
No, I love
like
colored tapes.
Vinyl.
I like colored tapes too. Like I have a couple red ones that I like. It's easy to find them when they're like lying around.
I'm lucky. You know what I have? What do you think the most coveted colored tape in hip hop is?
What? I can't.
The purple tape.
Purple tape.
You know what that is?
What?
You don't know?
No.
Well, you
tell me the story.
It's the Raekwon's only built for Cuban links.
Oh, no, that happened on a purple tape.
No, yeah, so it was a purple tape. But the thing is, when my brother bought it for me in 94, 95, it was black. And whatever, I heard, the purple tape came after, and he named it purple tape because it came out in purple tape in New York, Toronto, everywhere, but it was like the first run. And he chose that because Redman dropped theirs, the Dark Side, on red translucent tape. Red. Oh. And he's like,
he couldn't do red, so
he did purple. But I went on eBay and I bought the purple tape for only $100, and it's fucking so I have the one on Loud Records. So it's a purple tape, and it says Loud Records, and then there's a tag that says like Shala Raekwon. So I have the Loud Records version. But then there's another company called Get Down, and they re-released the purple tape, and it looks just the same, and it's purple and all that, but it has the Get Down logo. And everyone's like, yeah, I got the purple tape. You got it. Yes, you got the like 2015 re-release. I went, and now they still sell the 1995 one on eBay, but now they're selling it for like $1,200 plus. So I got it for $100, and I actually show it in one of my music videos, in my video for Visionaries.
I'm just trying to remember what they used to say about only built for Cuban links. I used to be a bigger fan of Raekwon's Lex Diamond Story album, but then
really, bro, have you heard Cuban links?
I have.
It's
too.
Fucking
but
funny.
Like
when I was young, I was super young. I was like 14. It almost scared me. That and Onyx, All We Got Is Us. They were so hardcore. They scared me as a 14-year-old.
But I think they were saying something like it was like one of the most influential albums for like Wu-Tang Clan, but then also like a very, very widely influential album for like
for all genres. It's like, I don't know, like, so when in my 14-year-old mind, it was scary because it's like, what are you, a pussy? You're scared of a rap album? Like, well, shit, I was 14 years old, and it was like hard beats and like contents about murder and drugs and just chaos, right? But then when I turned like 16. And then it's like you hear it's like mafioso rap, but just the Wu-Tang way, and just like how it starts, and the whole album like tells a story and a vibe, and like and it's all real, like based on their like drug dealing experiences, and it's and the production is just like, geez, like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's just phenomenal.
The purple tape must be cool to have lying around.
Yeah.
Is there any, like, if you could encapsulate it in like a statement or something, is there anything you want people to reflect on while they're listening to Plexiglass Park? Or
in a way, like, I mean, take it as it is, like, to whatever way they want to take it, like, you know. But I kind of made it if part of it made it for me, it was kind of like, yeah, like just like that song, That's Dope. Like, it feels so good. You know how it is when we feel so good. It was kind of like feeling good, feeling dope, but like for my fans and me, how we feel good, because I enjoy life, I enjoy living life, but people make me happy, or amazing music makes me happy.
No, but like, what do you do reasonably, like, when you listen to an album? Because I know some people.
Oh, yeah.
Like they'll like focus on listening to the album and then listen to it like one time through or something. But like some people fucking like to put it on repeat for like, you know.
And yeah. So let me just to finish off that. Yeah, it's like the theme is kind of that, like making it enjoyable for like the way we feel good, like the vibe, like certain like skateboarding, fashion, or whatever. Because like so many people in the normal who aren't artists, they feel good like when they go fishing or ride their motorcycle or go to the Blue Jays game, which is all fine, but it's almost like as intellectuals, my fan base, and like we really nitpick, and it's almost like it's a almost form of our vibe of enjoying life is almost different. So that's kind of, it's almost like Plexiglass Park is like, here you go, this is something new in the bag. So it's like,
yeah, it's something different, like,
and to feel good about.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think like, you know, the interesting thing though that I was trying to get to is like delving into like how the audience might experience the album, like exploring that in the interview, because like, you know, like for instance, a couple hardcore artists, Ian MacKaye and Henry Rollins, they're notorious for like listening to albums together, because
that's funny.
Yeah, they literally like they're two guys that are fucking like serious hardcore artists, but like, you know, not exactly the same.
And they listen to albums together.
Yeah, because they're sort of buddies over the years and like playing shows together in the Washington D.C. like hardcore scene way back in the day, and like, you know, but like they would just go and like find a couch at either one of their places and like put on an album from beginning to end and sit silently and fucking listen to it. And I don't know if they really got into much, you know, criticizing it or talking about their thoughts about the album after, but they just at a point where like they would come across an album, they know like, I gotta find homie and fucking like
play
sit on the
together.
couch. So,
yeah, well that should be so. And is Ian from Minor Threat?
Yeah, Ian MacKaye. Ian MacKaye's from Minor Threat, and Henry Rollins Black Flag. We were talking about like a couple hardcore old heads and how like they, you know, coincidentally were like listening to albums on the couch because the two of them could sit in silence around each other, and like, you know, it probably gave them some insight, given like the kinds of albums that they ended up listening to over, you know, an extended period of time, and like in terms of like other person's tastes and stuff, like like trying to find like an album. Like I imagine from time to time when Henry Rollins was at a record store, he would think like, is there possibly an album here that like, you know, Ian MacKaye could stand sitting on the couch listening with me, that like if I told him like, hey, I got this album over the phone or something, he'd actually show up and listen to it on the couch or like be excited about it to some extent. And that's what I think is like what I'm going for is like.
And now Ian's from Minor Threat, right?
Yeah, and Henry Rollins
from Black Flag.
Yeah, and both from Washington D.C. around the same time. And like I think the thing is like because like, do you like listen to the album from beginning to end, or do you like, you know, hop through like for instance a hip hop album that you haven't heard that you're excited to listen to, and just like read the song titles and like, okay, I'm gonna like venture the one that like sounds like my mood from the song title.
Yeah, so like if a new album comes out, like the most appropriate way to listen to me, and where I'm just like, I'm really appreciating what they did, is like listening to it on my monitor speakers or my Audio Technica headphones or my Bear Dynamic headphones. All quality stuff, because if they work that hard in the mix, I want to listen to it quality equipment, right? And usually I open up a notepad text file and I'll just listen to the track, and then I'll hear it, and then I'll be like, okay, this guy said this thing, that was dope, this beat is good, this is, and then I'll be, holy shit, look at this track, or this track is like, whatever, like whatever it is. So I'll analyze it, and that's kind of like the way, like where I really, and many times I'll listen to an album and I'll go back like that. Like I did that to some Ice Cube albums, like early Ice Cube.
That's cool.
And
did you spend more or less time on this new album? Like how much time did you kind of work on it?
I looked at, it's crazy. So I kind of worked it out where it's like each album takes me at roughly 130 hours over a 2-year period. So this one, I was looking at the sheet and I'm like, it was a lot less than 130 hours. And I'm like, what? Something's fucking not matching up. And I'm like, well, because I was working on one computer to record and I'm like, damn, I hope the other computer where I was making beats, there's another sheet that says maybe what I worked on. Because I used to just work on one laptop and then I had like all the art and recording and mixing on one sheet. Like I put 20 minutes in one day, I put 10 minutes, I put 3 hours in one day. And then so this one was significantly less. I'm like, did I mess up? Something is off. If Sketch City was roughly 130 and Nightmare Fuel was 100, where's the hours? So then I went back and I'm like, thank God. And I found another notepad that had like all the time that I was like producing the beats and stuff. So yeah, you know, hopefully, and this is to the things in terms of productivity. Like hopefully, like I kind of want to drop them even earlier than 2 years, but I think it's gonna. I don't know yet how long this one's taking.
Yeah, that's true. Cause like I know what you're saying. Like things sort of there's last minute things to tie up and stuff. So and you're probably timing that shit too. But
so
130 hours for Nightmare Fuel though, because that's like reasonably like non-stop, like 5 days.
Yeah, and I had an MC like kind of freak me out online. He said something. He's like, "Oh, that equates to something like an hour and a half every week in 2 years." And he's like, "That's lazy. Like, yo, Crumple's lazy." This time, I'm like, "What?" I'm like, first off, I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I could be more productive. This that. And then first of all, this guy I hardly know. But then I found out this rapper first of all who said that. He has no album out ever. He's probably my age. He has no completed album. He only has a bunch of singles. His image, it took me hard to even figure out. Like I'm here in public. Like people know who I am. People know my videos. Since 2002, people know who my image is. See my complete album covers.
Yeah.
And I hear him and I can learn from that. I can be like, yo, yeah, maybe it could be productive.
Like I'm saying, it's like that 130 hours is like roughly like 5 days, like pushing it to the limit. Like,
right.
But then that's like you give yourself even 2 days to like live. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have to like do other stuff. You're looking at a week to produce and friggin' rap over
record
and like
and
like
there's and the art,
and
like a lot of it
and the promotion.
And so this guy who said that like
week is that's brutal.
Yeah, and so this guy who said that he like, and I'm like, okay, I can learn from that. I can be more productive, sure. But then I looked at it like, who's the messenger? And he's like, because so many people online, especially like on Instagram, they're like, they could be haters and they throw their rocks, but they never show their face. And it's like, show your face, give me something to work with. Like, are you gonna diss me and I don't even know, and I'm in public, so people know, they see my images that
are you this particular rapper, gonna, like, you know, get locked up in a closet and forced to produce an album in like a week and understand the pain of Admiral Crumple? You know what I'm saying, and why he takes 2 years. Why you take 2 years to do it?
Yeah, and then if you look at it, would be and so many and the thing is, I look at it like when a rapper drops an album every 2 years and their discographies like that, they're kind of still relevant. You're in the game, but it's like when people have these lags and when their discography has gaps, that's an issue. Like then, like that's kind of noticed when I notice rappers fall off. It's like, but if people are consistent, they're kind of whatever. I've dropped consistent albums at least every 2 years since 2002. The only time I had a gap was when I was working on the film. Mm-hmm. But basically, so this guy, I'm like this, and I'll only entertain it because he's a rapper himself, and it's like it took me really a long time to find his work. He hardly has the image of himself out there. I'm pretty certain my Spotify numbers are larger than his. No videos, no, and then we're talking. I'm like, yo, like you're acting like a creep, like certain shit he's saying, and then he's like, oh, but I work too, and I do this stuff, and I'm like, okay, but then at the end of the day, he has no album out, and the thing is like when I do this stuff where it's like an hour and a half, that works roughly equates to it, but it's kind of like I covered the years from 2002 now until 2025, and I've seen so much happen in that era, from like Def Jux falling apart to like LP becoming with Killer Mike and Run the Jewels, and then like the whole Laffy Taffy movement, that Laffy Taffy track, and then like so many changes. And then Outkast popped out, and then they left again, and then Wu-Tang came back, and then like Lil Wayne started popping off, and then like
Wait, what year are you talking about?
everything, like from 2002 to like look at those changes.
Yeah,
no,
there
till
was
2025
to 2000.
like all this era, and it's like I kind of dropped that album all its time, and it's just like it's because of that discipline. So it's like, and on top of that, it's like I have a lot of like I have to balance my life. Like I'm still alive. Like so many rappers in Toronto that were rapping when in 2002, they don't rap no more, you know, and it's bugged out. So, and I'm committed to I'm committed to doing this for the long haul.
I think it's like you've survived like sort of a wave of like, you know, discouragement that probably a lot of people felt because of, you know, the state of some things that like, I don't know, I can see, and like maybe you can see in the like music world, as far as like challenges that like the hip hop and rap community,
and including the streaming area, and there's so much
and
things,
in online
like,
spaces too.
Yeah, it's just weird, and then like, and you know, like the money counts, and it costs money to create an album. You know?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you, like, did you when you record the vocals in specific, like, do you go out of pocket to like get studio time? Because you know, some people get nitpicky and they like, you know, make like booths in their own fucking place to like record the vocals.
So in terms of like I produce and stuff at my crib, but like the vocals I record like elsewhere and stuff. I have family members who have other spaces and stuff to record vocals.
Yeah.
Because like my crib, even though I have certain equipment, I don't bring people to my crib to work on music, because music is like in terms of projects, it's just challenging, man. Like people will do one-off and they'll do a track here and track there, but to be committed enough to do a whole album together, it's a whole different mindset. Like, and I've done crew albums. I did Death Catchets with Beataho from Ottawa, and I did the Cali Project with Bammer and Evergreen from LA. I went to LA for a week and we banged that.
Yeah, you mentioned in the last interview.
Yeah, so there's that, and then you know, and I just like, it's just collaborations. Like it takes certain people to collaborate with. You know what I mean? And it's like so many people just want to get on. They're like, yeah, let's do tracks and like let's blow up and but it's more than that. Like
but I think, you know, it's there's something to be said about the fact that like you hold it down, like even when you have other rappers on your album and stuff like that featuring, like a lot of the tracks are usually just you holding down for like
and even like Cage, right?
Few
like
minutes and
even
shit.
recording with Cage, like I recorded with Cage in 2008, and we were talking on the phone for a while. So and then even like 2019, and then Nightmare Fuel, and it's like we talked on the phone a lot. Like Cage and I talked to him, and we kind of talked about the track, and like I gave him like 5 beats. He picked like out of like 5 production beats, and he picked that beat. So I'm like, I feel it was kind of synergistic. It wasn't just like, yeah, I wanted this verse. It was like we were talking about it. And it's not like we're complete boys. We're in the studio and we're like really super collaborating. But it was still like I provided him beats. He chose the beat with his brain.
Yeah,
he picked it.
No, you've had like you've collaborated in a few ways that show that like you can do it, and like you're not like shut out from the like rap community and shit like that, which is legit.
Yeah.
And like, but then like it's also, like I said, sick that you can like hold down like fucking on an album like 4 out of whatever how many tracks without anybody on them, because there's a lot of fucking rappers that like you look at their album and
it's pure
every
guest
track
feature.
has guests.
And the thing is, my first album, it's just like Nas said, like when he's like, my first album had no major guest appearances. Like even on my first album, there was no major. It was just my boy Rom and Toad One. That's what his name was there, and then he changed his name to Status. But it was like there was no features. There was no features, and now it's just Admiral Crumple. I didn't get off on features, so it's like 2002. It's Admiral Crumple. Then my crew Bleach Harmony, and then the Great Demons Project.
No, and you could put out like an album, like even like Real Wolf, like because they have fucking like an album that's like back-to-back features on the track, and like I guess a lot of them are the Real Wolf members, but like you could, I think, successfully put out an album though if you wanted to that was like, you know,
Features.
each track had a feature on it deliberately, but like is whether or not that's something you're gonna do, I'm not gonna.
It's
question
tough,
that,
and,
but it's
and,
like-
and it's like, I mean, Real Wolf definitely does their things. Shout out to Tom from Real Wolf.
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
do.
You know,
They do good work.
You know, I'm in one of the videos. I'm in the D12 video they did called "I Go Off" or something, and I'm
Nice.
grateful to be in it. And it's crazy because even that has like a kind of like flop house scene.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. I don't think you've seen it. I'll show you it though. But I appreciate that. And Real Wolf, they're definitely doing their thing. They're like they've been doing their thing, and they've worked with like.
Yeah, it's cool. They do
Just
like
a Law and like
horrorcore
and
beats and shit
all that
too,
stuff,
and like
yeah.
like they lean into that stuff, and yeah, they're sort of gritty in the same ways that you get to, like, you know, which is neat. And it's
Yeah.
kind of cool to see like a consistent, like, not to say that like, you know, you should be like rolling consistently with like a crew of fucking rappers, but they stay pretty tight. That like, however many of them.
No, yeah, they're definitely inspiring. They're doing their thing in
Yeah, like
Toronto.
they
for sure.
take over a stage, man. It's like a sight to see, actually. Like,
Did you see them live?
yeah. I saw them
Nice.
with La Coca Nostra.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and like Macro and Only One, like a few other like local acts and shit. I think there was another local act. Oh, White Boy Scummy. That was it.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's really cool. Like it's like that. I respect that.
But then like how was Nightmare Fuel like received at this point? Like from what you can garner, like anything notable?
I mean, it sold, and I got like, you know, I always get like Spotify money off it and all that, and then I sold the cards and CDs initially. But yeah, a lot of people were like, "Damn, man, like that song, you're more of a hooker than a singer." They're like, "Are you dissing like sex workers or drug addicts?" And it's like, I'm not dissing them, but my whole thing for that, you're more of a hooker than a singer, is kind of like, because there's like a lot of girls in Toronto like want to be R&B singers, and it's the kind of thing where it's like these dudes are like, yeah, I got studios, but their motive is to kind of deal with the girl or get sexual with the girl, and the girl's innocent and they just want to like record and be an artist. But then these
guys corrupt them to
these guys have
maximize money
studios.
off an easy audience or something.
Yeah, and then they want
Selling
to want
sex,
to prey on them and shit. So it's like I'm telling like these girls like, yo, be an R&B singer, or like do your thing.
Yeah, no,
like, do something like good. But like so many girls fall into like sex work because like, okay, they can't find normal work or whatever, and it's not bad per se, but it's like, I wouldn't deal with any sex workers. I never have. I never would.
Yeah, the track
And it's
does
like,
kind of say like you could be an artist, but you're actually more of a hooker than
yeah,
a singer.
and then there's a thing where it's like, you know, some of them, they think they're all that in this R&B world, but they're not. They're getting their money from being a hoe.
Yeah.
And so, and then even like, oh, you're hating on cokeheads and there's people with addictions, and no, like, I quit alcohol for 10 years. Like addiction is a real thing, but when you come across cokeheads who like hurt other people or disrespect other people, or like, cause there are some people that were I keep a tight circle, but people who I was tight with knew other people who may have been involved in like cocaine, and they were mad disrespectful or whatever, and I'm like, fuck these people, fuck these dudes and bitches. I'm like, nah, like because some of them are so entrenched in that they're not looking to quit. They're not like, they're actually causing problems.
And, yeah, they're
like
constantly like sort of like breaking down their inhibitions and doing like worse and worse
fucked up
things
shit and like causing harm and being
Escalating.
and being toxic, and like, so when it's at that level, I'm like fuck those people even now. And it's like I don't even deal with them. It's like, yo, they could be in jail, they could people could be all caught up in whatever. I'm like, they want to be disrespectful, and then like, even some people I called out on Nightmare Fuel, like, yeah, it was real situations, and they ended up getting charged after. They, like, again, it's like I didn't have to lift a finger. I expressed myself, and then I watched people get caught up with their own shit. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm again. But yeah, and some people were coming at me when Nightmare Fuel. They're like, "Damn, are you?" Nah, man. I'm just talking about my perspective on what occurred. You know? So Yeah.
Yeah, like, but was there like a specific rhyme that like really sticks out for you from the album, like something, some sort of memorable or like
For Nightmare Fuel?
for Plexiglass Park?
Oh, Plexiglass Park. I don't know. Like, I don't know if anything stuck to you when you heard it. Or
like obviously there was the Gucci socks at the end, like that pixel beat.
Yeah.
That you were spitting over, which that was definitely like memorable. But like I'm thinking like, wasn't there like there was a few rhymes, but like I mean, like I think that's probably even gonna get like more spotlight on it once it
comes out.
once it comes
But
out.
off the top, like even when you're listening to it, do any themes come out that you remember it?
Yeah, like I mean, you were approaching things like sort of being disillusioned with like, you know, people who contribute to like I guess like the worst parts of like, you know, the underbelly of what you see and shit. Like it was almost like you were like documenting sort of like a doctor and a like, you know, voice recorder or like a detective or something, like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like
And
to
cool.
remember like whatever.
Yeah, and
like,
that's why, because this album is really fact based, just like most of my albums since like Sketch City. Like I made a concerted effort to like rhyme about factual things and kind of make facts cool, because so many people go into imagination and all this stuff.
yeah, no,
but it's
you do throw in facts and then like lace it with like your commentary of like how you feel about those anecdotes and like whatever, like, which is cool. Like you're definitely like in control of like how you're presenting things, which is like better than I can say for Tom McDonald, who seems to just like come up with random ideas and just like
Tom
with them and
McDonald
get on Billboard.
Yeah, and I mean, and there's something to be said for that too, because he hustles and he's dating that Nova Rockefeller girl. I met her once.
Lol.
What's that?
Just that you would randomly have met her.
Well, yeah, because she was dating, or I don't know if she was dating Ari the Rugged Man, but I think they were in a video together, or I don't know, but it was at an Ari the Rugged Man show. So, yeah, I saw her. I didn't really talk to her, but I know. I think she may be in a picture with me, and like, because I was with Rugged Man and she's in the background. And but yeah, like, I don't know if they're still together. Are they Nova and this Tom McDonald?
To be honest, I am following Tom McDonald to watch the train wreck, but like.
Well, I mean, and there's a lot of hate on him. I see that, but he if he reached Billboard by himself and doing that, and I've seen a lot of his videos, and he's like
it was
super
mostly
passionate.
like the online like sales, online listens, and like
and
whatever,
that's cool
like,
because he was talking about Billboard and all this stuff, and he's kind of like really
digital sales or some shit like that. Like, which I mean, like I'm just saying it's like kind of not the most glorious Billboard nod to get, you know, like, and I mean, I guess it's not to even criticize, because I know you know, address politics and politicians like how you see fit and in your tracks, and like, you know, I don't think that's unfair to do, but I think is like, you know, he's kind of being divisive, having the sort of story that he has that he's not very direct about, and just like, you know, I guess like he has a lot of followers who maybe are like, you know, like gravitating to the lore of like what happened to him, and like joining his Discord to like find out more or whatever, like so why people are
has a Discord.
He has like a Discord and a YouTube, and like he talks to a lot of his fans, like,
well, that's cool though, because
like he's not the worst.
I think several fans message me every week, and I respond to them, and I try to respond to them. I always try to like I have a whole document of anytime someone comments on my like a video and they're like, yo, this track's dope or this, that, and you can even go through my YouTubes, and it's like I'm always responding like, what do you like specifically about this track? They're like, oh, this beat or this flow pattern you use or this time. I'm like, okay, cool. And I have a whole list that I've created. It's like, and I named it's a Microsoft Word file, and it's called What the Fans Want. And it's literally like I always try to cater to my fan base. I try to be
trying
so
to align yourself.
Yeah,
to
because I got love for them, and they love me for who I really am. You know what I mean? They're more. I'm tighter with them more than I am with certain friends and family.
I've seen some metalcore musicians emphasize that.
Like
some artists do that. And
like being close to my fans is everything. So I mean, if Tom McDonald's doing that, especially with Discord and all this technology, that's a great thing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying more or less, and hear me out, is that like, you know, some bands out there are like vegan and like straight edge and like, for example, and they you know, stick to that trajectory, not just for themselves but also for their listening audience and their fans, whatever, you know, and like, you know, maybe to be a good example, whatever the case may be. But it's just silly how Tom McDonald, like, even like he just haphazardly, you know, comes out with this thing for hype, and like, you know, he's criticizing you know, state senator or something, which is like, whatever. I've criticized Doug Ford, you know what I'm saying, like publicly, got like silenced on an Instagram post actually. But my point being is that like if you even listen to the hook of the track, like it's like, the devil is a Democrat. It's just like, it seems like something that he's just like, you know, like,
yeah, and that's the thing though. It's like it's, you know, I sort of like, and even with in terms of politics, like I could be bothered by certain things that happen in like in Canada, or certain things like there's, I mean, I heard they spent $70 million on a anti-tariff ad, and then now Trump is just like even pushing back harder on Canada. I'm just like, I don't know, like, but things like that, it's like, to spend $70 million on an ad, like, and that's my tax, like, I paid over $10,000 in taxes last year. You know what I'm saying? And I hardly spend $10,000 on myself, for like, I give myself over $300 of like kind of fun money a month. Yeah. And I'm always saving and I invest, but like $300 I'll do whatever, I can like whatever, buy shoes, clothes, books, and like, but I'm like, I probably spend more on taxes than I do on myself, and it's just like, things can bother me about what happens in Canada or whatever, or worldwide politics, but it's like, I never try to like be too political in terms
of
like
the devil is a Democrat. Is you're not just getting political in that statement. You're getting dogmatically religious and like bringing the devil into the equation.
But the thing is, you know, and that's and I'm not like hating on Tom or but like the thing is like being too, because then it's like you're picking sides, and like a lot of rappers picked sides, and you're like, damn, it's like if you're not aligned with that, then you're like not as much as a fan. So it's like, you know, and Kool Keith, this is what I love. Once again, what I love about Kool Keith, like, he's so great. Like, so he has one rhyme on one of his albums, and he goes, I think it's on Sex Style, and he has one rhyme, and he goes like this. He goes, political style flop, your child play is amateur. And I'm like, fuck, like, that is, like, I don't even know maybe what he meant towards that rhyme, but I take that as political style flop, like maybe a rapper tried to get so political and then it flopped on them. And he said this in 1996, and then he goes, your child play is amateur. So, and in my mind, I'm thinking, like, when you're rhyming just for fun, like childish, like child play rhyme, and he's like, your child play is amateur. So it's kind of like, you know, instead of like rhyming for fun and being like, yo, I could rhyme just to have fun, but it's like you're amateur at having fun with hip-hop, exactly. And your whole shit of being serious flopped. And you're not. So these are the things why fucking Kool Keith is. He's so great and like.
No, but that's what he's like saying about Tom McDonald, for instance. Though, like, imagine Tom McDonald trying to get serious on somebody. Like, it would be the funniest thing ever, though, wouldn't it? Like, just the persona that he's built for himself. Like, I don't, you know, he's essentially like turned himself into a troll that's just as easy to ignore as he is to insult. You know, like, and I'm not like trying to go in on the guy so bad. Like, shout outs MGK2. I don't hate that guy, and I criticize him. Like you know, I just feel like it's like, you know, why this guy got to be running around with tattoos and being all edgy at a time where it's like, you know, and there's like certain groups are considered like hate groups and terrorist groups and shit like that, and he's just like inflaming some.
Yeah, no, inflaming any fucking issues is fucking problematic, man. But and like that's why like again, Plexiglass Park is different.
How long have you been rapping over like mostly horrorcore beats on like the albums you release?
Again, like in 2002, there were some tracks that were like horror, but it's like it was more boom bap than just like hip hop, but still always like hardcore hip hop. But in 2003, that's when I sampled actually like a Friday 13th like strings and stuff, and it was really like horrorcore vibe on one track. It was a crew track. I don't know. I think it's called Dune Buggies. I'm not, but it's on Great Demons. But then a lot of tracks are like hard horrorcore. But then really, I kind of have to go back. But Nightmare Fuel was like super horrorcore. Like I actually went back and listened to like Gangsta Nip and MC8 and a bunch of like,
those 80s down south
90s
horrorcore. Because like one of the dudes we were even talking about was like from like 86.
Yeah, and then and I revisit all that, and then like even horror movies, and it's like so Nightmare Fuels was like a completely like horrorcore vibe, and like all the tracks are like just straight dark, but all my music's always dark, hardcore, and clever. But production wise, that was like super like horror themed, right?
Yeah, and like I think though, like, what about Netherworld? Wasn't that another album that like was a lot of horrorcore?
Yeah, Netherworld has Mercu, and Netherworld has the song Cocaine Overdose, where it was like anti-cocaine back then, and even the title like Netherworld or Neitherworld. It's Netherworld. It's like the other world or underground or even like hell or some shit like that. But it's there's always themes and references to horror, but just like, and especially now with Plexiglass Park, there's actually like I mentioned certain things like Halloween 3.
No, I like the Netherworld album cover where you like mocked up like a drawing of yourself, like almost like Edward Scissorhands or some random shit, like some sort of like, you know, horror movie, like, you know, body morph sort of fucking like villain or something like that.
Yeah,
which was neat, like, because again, I definitely respect the like movement that you identifiably made, like you were saying, from boom bap to like, you know, the sort of styles that you're varying into, namely horrorcore, but like even other stuff in the new album.
Yeah, and
like
it's
the
chiptune.
Yeah, chiptune.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's always like I never veered away and did something like lighter hip hop or completely like trap or something like no R&B hip hop, that's for certain. So it's almost like I express like my angers and fears and a lot of love. That's kind of what separates me from, I think, hardcore rappers, because some just hardcore rappers, they stay in that pocket where it's just only hardcore, they're angry about whatever, but then they don't really balance it out with positive stuff, and I kind of do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I talk about like either love and relationships or just like
spirituality,
like but also like trying to live like a high quality life, like you know, like eating well, being healthy.
You seem like a guy that values like being well rounded.
Yeah, and living a balanced life, because a lot of people get caught up and then they. Yeah, so it's not just, I don't stay stuck in like fear. You know what I mean? I get back to like, because I think like a lot of creation comes out of like when you're just kind of like in a good mind frame and like in that inspired state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say like the mood that Plexiglass Park as an album sets builds on like the earlier content from like Nightmare Fuel, like, and being a reflection of, you know, the current economic and like geopolitical environment like you see around you. Because I remember even at one point we were talking about a sample where I think KRS-One or something was talking about how like early hip hoppers were just like reflecting the like, you know,
the
sort of
environment
shambles of the world
that
around.
they were in.
Yeah.
Like they were in the South Bronx, and then it's kind of like they weren't really influenced by the environment. They were like, no, we're going to influence the environment, even though we're around a lot of chaos and poverty. We're not going to let that dictate to us what we are. We're going to dictate to the environment. And then they kind of made that like inner city life cool. Like that's just kind of like being living in like Bergamot or whatever, in like buildings and
Yeah,
you know,
but you've been
certain-
doing
like-
this stuff for like long time too, and that's sort of like you've seen like the gentrification of like some of these
Oh, yeah.
neighborhoods and shit.
Even New York. When I visited New York for the first time in 2004 or 2005, like Harlem isn't what Harlem was in like the 70s, you know, or even the 80s. And New York is like, it's just, I mean, I love New York always, but I'm just saying that like there was like a dangerous vibe to like Times Square and all this stuff in the 80s, 70s. Like there was like peep shows and I think strip clubs were in.
Yeah, like I know what you're saying. Where it was like there was a time where like things were more acceptable as far as like what was allowed, like
Yeah.
on the streets and like even in New York, which you would think is like some like a cosmopolitan city that would be like all the time letting anything happen, but
Right.
realistically it did have like
A lot of
shifts where
crazy
they
shit.
crack down on certain like,
Right, and I think
groups of people.
Giuliani did that. And you know,
Mhm.
my thing is, but Young Street's the same thing. Like Young Street in the 70s and 80s and 90s was crazy. There was like way more strip clubs, this, that, and it was just kind of like raunchy.
Yeah, and it
And
did
it
change.
was-
Like even
and
from
that
when I've
totally
seen it,
changed. Like,
changed
Dundas-
like, a lot.
Young and Dundas with the big screens and all that. Like Young Street just came off as just like a, you know, that long street with like the gold shops,
Yeah.
the Nelly's jewelry. I got this chain done by Nelly's in Young Street. He's a legendary
Dope.
jeweler there. Now I don't think he's there anymore. He's somewhere else, but I think his one of his family members runs it. But
I'm guessing you designed the like
yeah,
drawing.
that's the AC. That's from the actual.
Yeah, like that looks like your
Crumple
style.
font, yeah.
Font, yeah.
It's and in the back I have the word principles,
Oh,
which
nice.
means kind of like sticking to like having a vision and goal and making decisions to achieve goals, and then also like health, taking care of one's health and teamwork. You know,
Yeah.
even this is a form of teamwork. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
like building and whatever.
Yeah, trying to like, you know, make something like out of what you got. I think.
Yeah, definitely. And that's part of the responsibility of just like, you could be in any weird situation or in a bad situation or any bad situation, and it's like I choose what, okay, like this happened to me, but then I'm like, I could choose what to do now. And then by that, we kind of like change our destinies, you know? That's kind of what I've always been about throughout since 2002. Because even like, I didn't get signed. I think I tried to get signed. I sent some albums several times to like, I was looking at like, even like whoever's popping off at the time, and then looking at their CD and then the BMG group or Universal, looking at that address and sending my stuff to them. So I attempted with a press kit, but they never even got back to me, right? So it's like, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm not signed to a label, but I'm not going to let that stop me creating hip hop and getting my name out there. So now I know where I'm at. And it's like, okay, where I'm at is over 500,000 views on YouTube and World Star accumulated. And that's not like lies. It's like, that's what I built over 20 years, right? And that's not even a huge number, but it's real.
Yeah,
It's-
you've
it's
done some,
facts, right?
you know, reasonably impressive real numbers, like that are not like, you know, I guess questionable in like how you know, like push the product out. It's not like, you know, your CDs were caught in like value bins in, you know, boutique overstock, fucking like, you know, stores and shit. Like your shit was like legitimately either just like sold to direct fans via online.
And but you know, I
whatever,
used to. It's funny because that value. It reminds me because I passed by Cops Record and they have boxes out. And sometimes I'm wondering if my stuff's gonna be in there because Cops had my CD in there.
Yeah.
And you know, I Rotate This sold my stuff, and
That's sick.
even Sam the Record Man, because my brother was dating a girl who worked in Sam the Record Man, and Sam the Record, like, so I got my stuff on the rack of like independent artists next to like Pitbull. I think Pitbull was independent for
That's jokes, dude.
Yeah, in Sam the Record Man, which
That must have felt good.
I was awesome. I think I just used to walk in and be like, "Yo, my CD's here."
You know, dope. The best thing about like the Admiral Crumple persona that like consistently comes out in your rhymes and shit is that you're like, it seems like you're kind of like holding some motherfuckers like vaguely accountable for not being like, you know, the quintessential like hip hop like MC and their like cool disposition and shit like that. And in turn you almost like prove that you're holding yourself accountable to the same shit.
Yeah, you know what? That's actually true, because you know what? I feel like sometimes when I create the music and the hip hop I want, but then part of me is like, I see what's missing in the game, and then I'm like, yo, like let me create something that like fans want hardcore hip hop, they want horrorcore, whatever. They're not getting it. They haven't gotten it for years, or even in a particular way too. Because I'll rap about like, I'll reference like VHS horror boxes, like that 1980s, 70s, early 90s horror films. That's it's different. You know what I mean? But
Would
again,
you say
like,
that those are like a big influence for the like Plexiglass Park album, like
I think so.
And
yeah,
stuff?
that's the thing, because you asked me about even the transition from Nightmare Fuel. Nightmare Fuel, I was like bothered by a lot of people in my personal life, and it's kind of like getting angry at that and then forgiving them in Nightmare Fuel, and then that was like some cathartic thing, and then it's like all those problems are done, like that's all clear, and then now Plexiglass Park picks up, and it's more like a fresh, and like the album is more colorful, like with the graffiti and then like the blue, and it's just, I don't know if I have yellow font on it, but it's just really colorful.
Yeah, there are some elements to it that are kind of like more lighthearted.
It's lighter, but not really. And then there's random like crazy hardcore tracks and very hardcore tracks on this, and it's still like boom bap and still grimy, and it's almost like the continuation. So now if I have new fears, whatever the new fears I have talking about, but then also new inspiration and new love in terms of even relationship, and also like
passion,
and then even like growth. But the thing is, the new Mobb Deep album, I listened to like I was just cooking and I had it, and I had the notepad out because I was just, but it was just like, now I'm just living life, I'm cooking, listening to new Mobb Deep, but I almost feel guilty like that. It's like, I'd rather, like the way you listen to an album, like you could just, someone could be just pop it up and listen to the new hip hop album on the phone on cheap speakers, and I'm like, that's a cheapened way to listen to it. Whereas it's like you're really taking it in. But I think listening to an album in the car is always cool.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Because like it, and I'll hit you with a cool story here from. You remember? Was it Sunrise Records that used to be on Yonge Street, right at the top, kind of? I remember I walked into that motherfucker and asked them for Monkeys, which for Monkeys is like a Millencolin album, which is like a European skate punk band that kind of like NoFX almost maybe or something, sort of technical skate punk, and I made a gag of it and kind of laughed, and they didn't even say that they could order. They were like, we can't even order it for you. And they're being snide about it, which the album is to this day very, very popular, but that record store is shut down, and the gist of it is
probably because they didn't order it for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm laughing. Yeah, but like that's one of my favorite albums. But like if you gave me that album today in any which way or form or whatever, my main thing would be like if you gave me the option of listening to it any which way, I'd be like, please play it through some speakers at a spot that I can skateboard at the same time.
Yeah,
You know what
there
I'm
you
saying?
go. Yeah,
That's kind of like so it's saying like rolling in a car or something and listening to this album. Yeah,
or a skate park, because like even like last time I was at a skate park, I brought my speaker, and there's a vibe to like, or like there's a vibe to like listening to albums, like or even music. Like I wake up to Q107 every morning, and I love waking up to like Aerosmith or friggin' Ozzy or friggin'
Guns N' Roses.
November Rain. Like it's funny, man. Like I like waking up to music. But it's just but then like whenever I just want to hear a track. Like,
no, that would be an interesting
or on
way
the train
to take in Plexiglass Park or something like that.
And
listen to it in the morning, like when you're transiting to fucking work or something.
Yeah, or
like
even
I'm
the
always
train.
listening to music.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like taking the subway, and I have a track on the album that is that song. It's scary. I'm gonna name that song. It's scary.
No,
so it says in the chorus, but that song has a subway vibe to it.
No, remember how I got Nightmare Fuel from You in digital?
Yeah.
I used to listen to that on my cell phone for the longest time
nice.
on the subway all the
nice.
time. Actually, because I couldn't get reception.
Yeah.
And it was like I had the actual files. And like that lasted until the phone died, but like
that's proper. I'll send you the digital files for this once it's out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
So like thinking of Nightmare Fuel and Plexiglass Park sort of at the same time, I would say like what are your thoughts on like the continued evolution of Admiral Crumple's like rhyme flow and shit, like and like I could note a couple things that I noticed, but like you make it on.
Yeah, I think like I was listening to a lot of Big Pun, and specifically the Capital Punishment album, and I was analyzing his lyrics in the way like he didn't have like just end rhymes, he rhymed in the middle too. So then when I was writing my lyrics for this, it was just kind of like more things were rhyming like within the flow, and then what more of the flows were like a flowing like da 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 da, like just the I really like worked on the lyrics differently, and then
No, I think you did do a good job on that, because like what I was gonna say even was that like you seem to have like a more off the cuff like flow when it comes to like your like pentameters on like the syllables that you're like throwing out there, but then like you're still like using your cadence in like interesting ways where you like sort of half yell something and like take a exhaling breath or something, almost like you're smoking a joint or like something silly or something, like like and like that was like I think that like popped out a little bit more in the Plexiglass Park like from what we listened to.
Yeah,
like,
and I appreciate hearing that, because it's like now I'm mixing the vocals, and there's a lot of art in my ad libs. Like I do, and I took out a lot because there can't be too many ad libs that like aren't lined up really well. And then but when I harmonize a lot of ad libs too, and
yeah, like you work with a lot of literary elements, which is cool. Like you're always bringing different ones to the table. Like you'll throw in like anecdotes and metaphors and like all sorts of stuff to like keep the like anybody who's like consistently focused on
and
listening.
then even vocabulary, like I use the word proclitivity.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, like I was even telling you Eminem would be like, I'm gonna go look up my dictionary.
And like like so and even in terms of like the production, like I search for again break beats for this album, and the samples, like again this album I feel like it doesn't sound like any other hip-hop album or any of my albums. Like the samples I use here and that I played around with in the bass, it's very like, again, some are chiptune, some are horror, some are just like musical.
Are they like 808?
Yeah, I use some 808 bass in some, and it's just what and just like.
I just
very
wanted to
different.
say though, like about the you know, rapping and stuff like that. That like, you know, I think a lot of people who listen, like I suspect at least, that a lot of people who actually do listen to your new releases as they come out consistently to see what you're up to and stuff like that, are in a lot of ways looking to see if like you're falling off of like innovating your rhyme flow, like, and like being creative in that and like interesting, and like you're still coming to the plate every like with another album in 2 years, willing to throw that stuff out there. And like I would say by and large improving, like, or like, you know, doing like evolving and growing, you know, so to speak. But like it's just like I guess the next question is more or less like, what has been the most dramatic like innovation or evolution that you know you've made in your beat production in the last 4 years, which is like the duration of those last 2 albums released or whatever.
I think it's well, I mean, I bought, like, I have a new synthesizer keyboard, but it's crazy because I kind of bought it after the production on this album because I didn't really use it on this, but I've played around with that, but also just like I guess in terms of the sound, because that's the thing, I'm always working on. Like, even though an album I aim for it to drop every 2 years, I'm working out throughout the whole year. I'm finding samples. I'm getting like one shots, bass drums, and it's like just different sounds, but maintaining the dark, hardcore and clever theme, but working in that. And then I think, I mean, in terms of like, I guess the 808 bass, that's different. And then, but then even it's wild because everything, the samples and everything, and the keys in this album are way different than Nightmare Fuel. But then
was it a different method or a different technique or something like that you applied
still,
given what you had?
You know, another thing is like YouTube is like the score of the freaking. I used to go to libraries and just find random classical music to sample from, and now you can go on YouTube or online, and that's like
so long as it's
sound
like
library.
Yeah, as long as it's like past a certain year back or something like that, you're not like, because you can still get in trouble. For instance, you're like using Johann Sebastian Bach,
I've had
recently,
tracks taken off of friggin' Spotify because of sample clearances. I'm like, okay, fuck, but it's like whatever, man. Like, if people want my stuff, they could get at me and I'll get them the tracks that they're missing. But the thing is like, the other thing is I actually got a DJ turntable with a fader thing. Yeah,
I was seeing some.
And I've been fucking around with that. Like, I may add some scratches to this, and it was tough to like learn patterns like the Joe Cooley scratch and the whatever, like cutting in like. Yeah. But that's fun, man. Like, I got involved in like DJing. Yeah, just cutting.
I got to scratch a CDJ once.
It's tough. Like when people like, I didn't even know how to crossfader worked, and that's basically an on and on switch. It's like taking it off and on the mute button, but it's just like, oh man, like.
But you can easily like ruin the levels, like just like going too far to one side or like.
Yeah, and then just like and beat juggling, like the things that like Rock Rada did, like think about that, like taking a Run DMC record or Rock the Bells Out Loud and just like. Rock the bell,
yeah. Like the things that Executioner was, and all them were doing, like, that, like, it's
insane.
Yeah,
it's an instrument.
No, they used to like, you remember in Mayville? There's that elementary school dead in the middle of the hood there, like close to all those like old buildings, and I remember at one point. It was Maestro Fresh West was there holding like DJ lessons, like comprehensive hip hop DJ lessons
around Maybell.
Yeah, in the elementary school.
What year was that?
That was like back. Like that would have been like when you were even a kid or something, like a significantly long amount of time.
Really?
Yeah, but he legit, like, for a bunch of like, I guess it was probably for any age of kids that were there, but like, I mean, my buddy who was.
Is there a video of that?
No, it's like my buddy's like one of his family members, and like he was attending the school at the time.
When they did that, I never knew that.
But he's like your age or something.
That's a part of like Canadian hip hop history. Like I didn't even know. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, he was pretty young too, and like they were letting these kids just like scratch and like flip the records, crossfade, like whatever they could teach them in the day or something or whatever. But he did, it's a fine art. Like they actually teach classes in.
Yeah,
there's like a high school credit on hip hop.
Like and there's like university courses on hip hop culture too.
Yeah. So okay. I guess like unless there's anyone that you want to like shout out or throw a thank you to like in this interview, or if there's any like me personally, I want to shout out the haters that keep getting in the comments section and talking lies about me. I delete the comments.
I want to shout out like you, thank you for this interview. For real, Quaker Kid Productions. Shout out to my boy MC Vision. Shout out to my homie Adam Karide. Let me see here. All my fans, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for supporting me, for listening to my stuff on Spotify. My boy Dre, you know what I'm saying? Friggin' my homie Sandeep, he's one of my fellow colleagues at work, and he's just love that dude, man. And then I don't know, man, like just
I don't know if it was like I think it's like a big part of what happens in these interviews is like people get to like talk about like their favorite artists, and it's like I was even gonna press you a little bit on like the similarities between like a detective documenting like their like investigation and like you and the narratives that you bring, and like almost covering your ass as a rapper who's doing the wheelhouse that you're doing and shit, like from being like a Tupac or like a Biggie or like a any number of these rappers that like have unfortunate stories and stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to live till I'm 85 plus or 100, and I know that some rappers have had unfortunate endings to their story, but it's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying, like I hope to live a long and healthy life, and I mean they became legends anyway, right?
Yeah.
But it's wild because like some of the lyrics almost can attract, like KRS-One says, he goes, watch what you say because you'll attract it. So that's the thing. Then that's the thing about hardcore is like you could rap about like hardcore and like horror stuff and dark element, but you gotta you gotta be careful with that, because it's like if you're too deep into that, it can attract all sorts of fucked up shit, right? But that's why the thing is like I acknowledge that, and I'm responsible for the grimy stuff, and the good stuff, and my own involvement in things, and then going forward for new vision, new goals, new opportunities, new love, new blessings, and new amazing things happen in life. Because again, with hip hop, I've met incredible people. I've worked with incredible people. I worked with Kool Keith. Like, I met him.
He came to the city.
I met him. I told him. I met him and I told him on stage. I'm like, you know what, Keith? And I go, and when I was talking to him, we were on stage, and he was like really listening to me. And I go, Keith, your music makes me happy. That's one of the questions. He paused, and I'm like, it literally makes me happy. Like I can be in whatever mood, and it's just like funky and dope and hard.
Yeah, there's a few of his tracks that have that effect on me. No, shout out to Spark Houston actually for being a player in that show. He got on stage, and for like even the La Coca Nostra show we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I know for a fact he put that show together. Like even a couple big motherfuckers if I can. CBB Connected by Blood, they're making a mess with their tracks these days.
Yeah. Releasing
new things, and there's. Yeah, I mean, it's a shot to Jinsu, that's what.
Shout out to Chuggo and
archaeologists. Rappers these days are
archaeologists, Chuggo, Unknown Misery, my homie Pat Stay Busy. I don't know if I mentioned him. Box Guts. Who else?
Because like I get it in my head sometimes that like maybe someday in the future, if YouTube doesn't collapse in on itself, there's going to be some dedicated digging in the crates person that's like, you know, looking for obscure references or something.
And these are them. There's so many rappers in Toronto that are like.
I'm always looking for like an artist that I dig's like, you know, influence or like favorite artist or like what they were listening to at the time.
Ritz
like,
Nabisco was part of the archaeologist clique. Ritz Nabisco was dope as fuck. I mean, he still raps. Like, I haven't heard from him in a while, but he was one of my favorite rappers.
You know who's going to be in the city soon, too?
Who?
Ghostface Killah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He dropped an incredible album, too.
I think he's playing
Mobb Deep
Phoenix.
Oh, nice. Mobb Deep dropped an incredible album. They took Prodigy's vocals, like, and they did no AI bullshit. They, like, because Alchemist had, like, Prodigy vocals, and and they're so good. And Havoc. Like,
sure.
Mobb Deep is something special, man. Mobb Deep, fuck. Like, when what Nas is doing with that whole mass appeal, he dropped the Ghostface album, he dropped the Raekwon album, he's going to drop supposedly like a Nas and Premiere album, which has been in works forever, talked about forever. He dropped this Mobb Deep album, incredible. He's going to drop this, De La Soul album and a Big L album. Like, so Nas,
crazy.
Nas is like, he's doing it for the hip hop, and yeah, Jay-Z's at top and investing in stuff, but Nas came out and he's investing. Nas won this whole New York casino bid stuff. But like Jay-Z, like I love Jay-Z and Jay-Z does Rock Nation. And there's that whole Jay-Z Nas stuff, and it's not like Jay's incredible, Nas is incredible, but I'm saying what Nas is doing with his resources, he just dropped all these legacy albums, like the ones I mentioned.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, he's like the stuff he's done with Massive Appeal and documentaries,
consistently over time, kind of like you. And I don't want to say every 2 years, but like remember that song "Hip Hop Is Dead" that he released?
Yeah.
Like, at a point in time where it was like people were like oversaturating the market.
Yeah.
With, like music videos and things had slowed down, so like it was a dead period.
There was, and during that time, it's
track.
funny because I had a response. I had one track, and I'm like, because it was off Nas, because he dropped "Hip Hop Is Dead," and I had that one track, and I go, they say hip hop is dead. It was like, they say hip hop is dead, but I don't believe it. I'm just searching out skill and trying to reveal it, looking for those acts with skilled raps. The next level hit, that's taking it back. But it started off like that. It's like they said hip hop is dead, but I don't believe it, because it was when he dropped that, I'm like, okay, cool, Nas, but it's like you're saying hip hop is dead, and I was kind of scared at that time for such a figure like him to say hip hop's dead, because I'm like, yo, no, it's not, because there's other acts out here who are killing it, and hip hop is not dead. But he kind of said that too, though, because he kind of put that panic in the world. He's like, yo, hip hop's dead, and on the
but I'm gonna keep it alive,
but then when you listen to the album, like he gives shout outs to all these like 80s rappers and all this shit, like, and it's like he kept it going, like
But you know, he is that kind of rapper though. He has that distinct quality where he comes up with some like lines that you can rip like a half of and infuse it into your rhyme, and people will instantly get, oh, he's making a subtle Nas reference in this line, but like spitting whatever the fuck, you know, like. Yeah. 'Cause I remember I used to do that with like that one line from like It Ain't Hard to Tell, where he's like, it was like I ran like a cheetah with
thoughts of an assassin.
Yeah,
I think that's like, New York State of Mind, maybe. I don't know. We all know that Illmatic is a classic album, but I heard recently about how like hip hoppers in like the early '90s, not a lot, like maybe some of them were scrambling or trying to find a style or whatever, or maybe like gangster rap being more like fantasy, and then like or some like a real element and factual element. But they said when Nas came out with Illmatic, that was kind of like him talking about like Queensbridge and him living in Queensbridge and Queens, and then his father's like a jazz musician and all the jazz.
It was very concise and coordinated.
And it was really like what he saw in his neighborhood, and then like feeling good, and it was a really intellectual album. And then when everyone heard it, they were like, oh fuck, because like Mobb Deep, actually, Havoc said recently, he goes, when they released the first Mobb Deep album, they were like kids, like juvenile hell. But then when they dropped Illmatic, that came after. When they dropped, what's it called? The Infamous.
Okay.
That was after Illmatic, and he said, because when we heard Nas album, they're like, this is what we were supposed to be doing the whole time. Like, Nas just kind of pulled it out. Like, he's like, oh, this is how we should rap. Like,
and I think it was like he could take like you in a track and like almost transport you where
like
was
memory
necessary, or like and that was really cool. Like
and then the production, like freaking Premier, Pete Rock, Large Professor, like what the fuck, like
I mean,
and like the bass line in fucking New York State of Mind, rapping so funny, like he's fucking crazy.
Iconic in a lot of ways. Like even on his production, like whatever he was, the decision making he was doing there was like
just
quite effective for like a few
And you know what's
hours.
funny? That album didn't even chart high on Billboard when it came out, and it took till like the year 2000 and plus, somewhere in the early 2000s before it went platinum. Came out in '94, and it didn't sell 1 million copies until like 2000 and something.
Yeah.
So it didn't go platinum until well over 6 years later. But that shows what an incredible album. It popped. Everyone's like classic, and then people just
like
whereas somebody like 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, sold 800,000 copies the first week or something, and another 800,000 copies the second week. That's over 2 million, almost 2 million copies in 2 weeks. And those numbers, like even Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP, I think, or and NSYNC, all of them dropped. Like NSYNC, I think, sold over 1 million fucking physical copies in a week.
wow.
And nobody does those.
Crazy.
Not even Eminem does those numbers now. Like they all hit like maybe like 200,000 or less. It's wild, man.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, all credit where credit is due to people out there who are like, being exceptional and like getting recognition. Like even like I might have had my gripes, but like Rolling Stone recently revisited MGK's what was it?
Beef?
It was like the pop punk album he came out with.
Yeah.
Something for My Valentine, or Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
My
Well, how
Bloody
was that
Valentine.
received? Because I think Eminem like popped him out of the fucking hip hop genre.
I think they were painting a different picture in the article that they were
Really?
That they were like,
Was it good?
yeah. I mean, like from what I could tell,
I heard it came out on Bad Boy Records.
from what I could tell, I might have, but like from what I could tell, Rolling Stones was taking a deeper look at MGK and like an expose 5 years later or whatever, some 4 or 5 years later, which is like Rolling Stones doesn't just do that for anybody, but like in the same sense, like I criticized them because I was like dude like is like a big time poser right now. You can't.
That's my
you
thing.
Can't,
it's
argue around.
He was, first of all, I don't even know where he's from. Do you know where he's from? Cincinnati.
No, Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
So,
which irks me because he gets down with a lot of down south rappers that are
and that's
like
the
on
thing.
stage with like 3-6 and shit.
So that's cool. Like he's not like an East or West Coast rapper, and then for him to randomly drop into like pop punk, it's just really strange to me. So it's kind of like Eminem to me destroyed him, and like MGK does get half props for standing up to Eminem anyway. Yes, he completely gets like props, like literally, because hardly anyone went full force at Eminem like that. I mean,
I think he's done a good job of like surviving.
But Eminem like really kind of destroyed him, and then shortly after he jumped genres, and it's like it's just, and Eminem's incredible. Like his last song was incredible, and he's always like incredible.
Yeah, I just want to give like MGK a little bit of credit though
Yeah.
too, in the sense of like that I guess he can do what he wants clearly, and I mean I think that like the beef that he did with Eminem produced some of Eminem's better rhymes in recent years.
Yeah, it kind of like it woke up the monster.
Yeah.
That's what like Snoop Dogg said. He goes, Eminem is kind of like always quiet when he's quiet, when an album's not out, but it's like he's like the silent like beast that you don't want to disturb that. And then
Yeah, and he
MGK
took that
did
on.
that, and then he like
showed
woke up
showed
like-
how you can escape even like something like that. But
and that's beautiful though, man. That was
That
really
is-
cool.
it
Like
is
that was
neat.
a wake up moment for hip hop.
yeah,
It really, I like that, and Eminem can do that. Like
yeah,
to,
but my criticism for him is like more of like the fact that like he's just like facing the whole like organization himself kind of thing.
Who?
MGK, like his
Yeah.
music career, like he's facing it like by and large, like he doesn't give like room for like the other band members in his like you know what I'm saying? In terms
I don't
of-
even know who
yeah,
his other
exactly.
band members
I
are.
don't know any, and I'm
Like
not.
in the
I'm not saying
video-
he should be doing famous people, but it's like maybe there should be another character on stage other than MGK. But it seems to be like the MGK show.
He had, what's that actress in his video?
Yeah, his ex or his wifey or
what's her
whatever.
name? She was in
Megan
Transformers.
Fox.
Megan Fox. So she's all in the video with him. But yeah, like where's the band?
Like, how are you gonna like paint out that like you're on some fucking like homie shit, and then like you go and start a pop punk band, and like it's the you show. And I understand there's like a Billy Idol element to like what he brings to like his stage performance instead of like album, but like it's like it kind of falls flat when there's like also like characters like Tom McDonald, also tattoo covered white guy who's like by and large like doesn't really have any homies he's bringing up with him, and it's not a huge thing, but I would say like for artists that are like getting recognition from Billboard and like I don't know, making multi-millions of dollars off each individual album, I'm just like where's the accountability for that? Like because I'm gonna call him a poser because of that.
Yeah, because even myself, like the second album I dropped was the crew album Bleach Harmony with Anonymous and Romulus. Romulus actually is in this part of the neck of the woods, but basically like
Anonymous is dope production. Like
but I think we may be talking about another Anonymous because there's two Anonymouses.
No, because there was Money Stacks, didn't he?
Oh yes, he
the
did that.
production on that
Yeah.
track was
Anonymous.
fucking
You should hear the
rare.
Bleach Harmony album, but I don't know if he produced on that. On Money Stacks, there's a whole. On Dark Sentences, Anonymous has a whole. I have a whole version of that album produced by Anonymous that wasn't released because we had a follow-up. But then later on, he says you can release it. I shall play.
Yeah, dude.
But basically, the next I released a compilation called Great Demons, and that was like Bleach Harmony was on there, and then several other people from Toronto, and Jay Lockross, shout out to him, he's incredible. So it's like, and then like I did a crew album, Cali Project with Bammer and Evergreen, and then Death Catchets with Beat a Ho. So and like Box Guts on the track. So collaborations is always important.
Yeah, but like, who is EST other than just like MGK?
Yeah,
in the large
true.
scheme of things.
Yeah, that's why it's important to like bring out other people.
Like, and I know he's a good guy in terms of like he makes emphasis to like involve his daughter and like what's going on as she's like getting older and like having to face being his daughter and shit like that. There's a lot of wholesome cool shit that he kind of does. Like, but like I mean, it's a time of like era where like people are contemplating like billionaires and like their like accountability, and like Taylor Swift herself, a musical actor, like a multi-billionaire or whatever.
Multi-billionaire.
Like, yeah, like I mean it's I don't want to say we have to hold him accountable, but we shouldn't be afraid to express like criticism that the guy might on some level take constructively.
Yeah,
that's my point. But like, that's the end of the interview. Thank you. Check the website, plexiglass.com. We still got a couple of zines that on the works. Like, I'm not gonna LARP on them some more, but like shout out to Matt Ellis. Congratulations for a successful tour with the Golden Shitters, homie. Successful motherfucking European tour after being the fucking like guy that you are. Love you, homie. Trying to think like anyone else, like everybody that got interviewed already. Y'all are winners. And 20ec.com, baby. That's it.
Yeah.